Matt King, thanks for joining us on the Illinois channel, and you are with FanDuel. And for those who don't know, what is FanDuel?
FanDuel is the largest online gaming company in the U.S. We operate across fantasy sports, sports betting, horse racing, and online casino.
And you're here at the Capitol because you're trying to get some bills passed that would allow you to do what?
We're trying to capitalize on the Supreme Court decision that came down last year that allowed states to legalize sports betting. And what sports betting is, and different than fantasy, is basically the ability to bet on the outcome of the game and a number of other bets that you can make, as opposed to fantasy where you have to pick a team of players, similar to a season-long fantasy game. And so the Supreme Court allowed states to start to legalize it. It's a huge opportunity for Illinois. It's an opportunity because it's something that's going on today in the illegal markets. It's a great tax revenue opportunity for the state. And so it's a unique chance to basically take something that's happening illegally, turn it into a legal activity, and tax it and generate real revenue for the state.
For those who have been out to Las Vegas, sometimes you'll see people, and there's a whole wall of monitors of different sporting events going on that they're betting on. Is in essence, would that be the same as what we see out in Las Vegas?
That would be similar. The way we run a sports book is very different. We offer a lot more things to bet on. We offer a much more modern technology interface. We also offer, in states where it's available, the ability to do it online. Because really, we're not necessarily competing against what people know from Vegas. We're competing against those illegal offshore sports books that are out there. And so we spent a lot of time building a very modern mobile-first product that users love.
So how would, if I was interested in doing that, do I have to go to a physical location? Do I just log on from home or my cell phone? How does this work?
So if we get the law that we want here in Illinois, you'd be able to do it on your phone. The best analogy out there is New Jersey, which has been by far the most successful state in legalizing sports betting. And what they did was they allowed mobile sports betting, and they also had a competitive mobile marketplace that allowed a number of players to compete in partnership with the local casinos. But what it did was allow a lot of mobile operators to come into the space and really fuel innovation that has led to a significant outperformance in their tax estimates.
So Illinois has had gambling of one form or another for many years.
Yep.
The lottery is one, of course, horse racing. Sometimes when we hear this and we want an expansion of slot machines and this and that, you have the competing interests. I believe that's somewhat at play here. Are you trying to work out an arrangement with the pre-existing people? And if so, what's the crux of the matter at this point?
So we have partnerships. Ourselves have partnerships with Boyd Gaming, who runs a casino out of Peoria. Some of our competitors have partnerships with the likes of Caesars. I think the one real point of conflict is there's a single casino owner that's trying to use his legislative muscle to restrict competition for his own benefit. And what that's going to result in is more profit for him, but less tax dollars for the state, and frankly, less innovation and less investment in the marketplace. We're committed to bring 300 jobs to Chicago as part of the opening of sports betting. We're going to likely spend north of $50 million a year in local market advertising. We're going to do partnerships with local teams and partners. And so we're willing to invest in the community to both build the marketplace and also kind of grow the economy here in Illinois. And we just need the ability to do that.
Everyone knows Illinois needs more income.
Yep.
So the $50 million in marketing would be good. But what kind have you run numbers if you were to get your bill passed the way you want it to? What kind of revenue numbers might it mean for the state?
We think that the governor's estimate, which I think is $200 million of revenue in the first year, is a reasonable estimate if there is a competitive mobile marketplace that includes us in it.
And you've done this in other states. What kind of results have you had? Have the revenue numbers matched expectations, exceeded expectations, or how?
In New Jersey, which is the oldest market, and frankly, we think the best model, the revenue projections for our business have been 3 or 4 times what our original projections were, and just the consumer uptake's been incredible.
And how much? I'm not much of a gambler. If you have, who participates in this? Is it hardcore gamblers? Do you have just people that here and there? And when there are the bets, are they just on who wins or loses a game, or is it on the spread as well?
We have everybody participating. So because we operate in partnership with local casinos, we run physical sports books in addition to the online mobile app. And what that allows you to do is you see people from 25 to 85 in the sports book. You see people of all ages on the app, and frankly, all levels of sophistication. You certainly see a lot of people that are very sophisticated bettors that frankly are, one guy even had a t-shirt in New Jersey that said, "I broke up with my bookie." And so you see a lot of people coming in from the illegal market that are very sophisticated. But on the other hand, you have a lot of people that are very casual. And so we consciously offer a product that has a lot of educational materials built in, makes it very easy to understand and easy to access for that casual fan, but also has the breadth of product that an experienced sports bettor is looking for. And so you're going to see kind of all shapes and sizes of bettors.
Just a couple more questions. If the bill passes and the governor signs this, how fast are you able to throw the switch so we could have people starting to make their bets?
I mean, Iowa and Indiana just passed a law. They say they're going to be ready by football. Typically what is the determinant of how quickly you can be ready isn't us. It's actually getting the regulations written. Things like consumer protections are things we take very, very seriously. We work with the regulators to write the rules the right way and then make sure our product sticks to those rules. And that typically takes some time. And so it's going to be up to the regulator how quickly we can get ready, not us.
And then you anticipate, I think, somewhat. Let's talk just about that. You have, of course, some people say this is going to be a gateway to gambling addiction, and maybe kids are doing it that shouldn't be. We've heard these stories in the past where someone picks up their dad's credit card and all of a sudden the dad finds out there's $16,000 of bets wagered on there. What protections are there, generally speaking, within this realm?
So I think one point I'd make is there's a lot more protections than the illegal market where you can take your dad's credit card and certainly run up $16,000. In our world, we do everything from a significant know your customer process when you sign up, so you have to give us a lot of personal information that we check against third-party sources to ensure that you are who you say you are and that you are of age. And then we also monitor your playing behavior throughout the process to detect any aberrations in that, and then we flag that and we'll intervene. So we take very sophisticated kind of algorithms to monitor player activity, not just up front, but throughout the process to make sure that people are who they say they are and they're gambling within their limits.
And I don't know, is there any clause in here or something that says so many of the revenues generated, or maybe the state does this and not FanDuel, that would go to gambling addiction?
So it depends on what the final bill will say. We provide a number of resources on our site. We invest heavily as a company in problem gaming resources. And so we would look to work with a regulator, either coming out of our checkbooks or the state's checkbooks, to make sure the right amount of revenue is getting to organizations like that to ensure that people have all the access to resources that they could ever want.
This sounds, in conclusion, a little bit like we're hearing about a separate issue, legalizing marijuana. And the argument is you're not stopping people from betting, you're just formalizing it and therefore being able to regulate it more. Just as people say people are already using marijuana, it's just whether or not the state wants to be able to get it. And by getting into this arena, you have more control. Is that more or less somewhat the arguments?
I think there are some differences. I mean, there's certainly some similarities, but I think there's a number of differences. I think if you look at the alignment of interests, whether it's working in partnership with the sports leagues and the teams, the existing casino interests, this is a much broader coalition, if you will, around how do we do this the right way. It's also something that I think has a much longer tradition of being legalized in the U.S. So if you look at Vegas, it's been there for decades. And so this is something that I think is a much more well-trod territory than the legalization of marijuana.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Illinois Channel.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.